Hey there, Marina Ormes here with your Astro vibe for Saturday, March 4th. We've got a moon in Leo all day today, and yesterday we were talking about what true self-expression really means and how it can sometimes be authentic and it can also be not authentic, and what that looks like and how to shift into the higher or more authentic forms of self-expression by getting grounded. So check out yesterday's video for more on that. And then today I thought we'd take a deeper dive into what creativity really means. And with self-expression, we also have this true creative energy. So Leo brings the energy of movement, of things moving from the inside out. It is in the ideal state, Leo is an expression of your heart and your heart's truth. And when we take that and tap into it, it helps to open our space of creativity. And thinking about what creativity really means when a lot of times we throw the word creativity around, right? And we might think, oh, I'm being creative when I'm doing art. I'm being creative when I'm working on a project or something that has to do with, it can be self-expression for sure. Like it could be writing, it could be music, right? It could be all kinds of things. Usually we think of it as artistic though. But really the word creative means to create, right? To bring into being, to make something new. So, the ultimate metaphor that I think of when I think of creativity is having a child, right? Giving birth to a child or bringing a child into the world where you are truly creating something new. Something that did not exist before, that has a life of its own, that has a personality, an impact, all the things that we as human beings bring and are, and all the mysteries of what that means. So creativity can be something as magic as bringing new life into the world, where obviously we can set a creative process in motion, but we can never know what the end result of that will be. And I think that is really representative of the creative process, is that when we set something in motion, we can set intentions, we can take actions, we can do all the things that we do, that the different parts of the zodiac and the planets help us with different parts of it, right? That's what we talk about here. But ultimately, when we're talking about creativity and manifestation and bringing something new into being, we don't have control over what that is ultimately going to be. And part of the reason we don't have control is because we cannot, the outcome itself, we want it to be something new, right? We want it to be something that we couldn't have imagined. We want it to wow us with what it becomes that we couldn't have, laid out in the ABC form. So true creativity means creating something that we cannot know what it ultimately looks like or becomes. And the cycles of the planets really work with that creative process, which is the same as a manifestation process, which is the same as a healing process, right? The same thing happens when we're working on healing, is we can envision and imagine and put all of our intentions into what we want that healing outcome to look like, but ultimately it may wow us with what it actually becomes. So an example for that would be, oh, I broke my finger, like that really sucks. And my vision for healing is that my finger works again, right? Without pain, right? So that's a really simple, concrete example. But the outcome from that healing process could be, things that we never expected. Like, I learned how to use my hand in different ways. I learned how to draw on resources in my life that I didn't know I had previously, tools or ways of doing things, or people who were there to help me that I never thought of asking for help. Things that can really kind of be a surprise in terms of our own awakening to what is possible. So that is what a true creative process looks like. A true healing process is really opening to what could be possible that we have to learn that we could not have imagined before we created this thing. Okay, so looking at creativity and how to support yourself in your creative process, that's exactly what we do here. We talk about setting intentions. Setting intentions is a way of claiming an outcome and saying, this is what I want. This is what it feels like when I have what I want. This is what it brings me. This is why I want it, why it feels good. So that's the intention. But inherent within that intention is a letting go that says, this is what I want, but I am open to the idea that it could show up in a form that I cannot imagine. The same way that when we bring a child into the world, we can't know what that child is going to be like as an adult, right? We can't know what the future will bring or what that outcome will look like. When we are humble to the process, we can see how that can unfold in ways that serve our growth, our learning, our greatest good, our capacity to love in ways that we could not have imagined. And so really, when we look at a creative process, we're looking at a spirit of openness, a spirit of curiosity, of wonder, of saying, I'm going to start this thing. Maybe you're painting or drawing and you start with a blank canvas and you have some vision or idea, but as you begin the process, it's going to evolve and it's going to become whatever it is becoming, right? And it's going to have parts of it that you could not have predicted. And those parts are going to speak to you when it's completed, or maybe even as part of the process of creating it. It's going to speak back to you about things that you have to learn and to discover and to notice, and ways that it can support you in your growth and your awareness. And that is what we were doing here in terms of stepping into your very highest potential, is really opening to what that can be. And so true creativity has a spirit of openness. It has a letting go. It has a willingness to discover new things, new possibilities. And it brings new connections, new ways of seeing things that were not, on your radar before you started this process. So starting with the intention, or carving out the space, the time and the space to do the creative work, but then also letting go to how it is going to unfold in ways that you can't control, that you could not have previously imagined. Here's an example. When I wrote my first book, which is Cycles of Healing, I couldn't even imagine how one completes a book, right? And so I had these ideas and things that I wanted to say, but what's the form? What's the structure? How does it flow? There's so many questions. So one of the things that I did when I started that process is I envisioned a completed book. Like I imagined myself holding it. I felt the weight of it. I could feel all the pages and all the words. I imagined the way people felt when they read the book, when they opened the book. Like, I just kind of set that as an intention and then opened myself to how this was going to go. And it's a long process. It's a multifaceted process. There are many steps of learning and discovery along the way, especially with a big project like a book. But ultimately it came into being, and it's not anything that I could have imagined in the beginning. So, and here I'll show it to you just for inspiration. This is my first book. It's called Cycles of Healing. It's got lots of pages, just like I imagined. So it's got lots of good information in it too that you might want to check out. But you see the idea here that trusting your creative process means a lot of ups and downs, but also an openness and a willingness to discover yourself along the journey. All right, there you go. Some deep thoughts for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. The moon is waxing. We're heading toward the full moon in Virgo, where we will be looking at how we do things in the world, in the physical world, through our bodies on the earth plane. And it is the culmination of this Pisces moon cycle that we are in, asking us to open our hearts, to connect with a bigger spiritual picture, and to find the meaning, the things that give meaning to our lives. So we're going to be looking at how the Virgo full moon reveals more about that. And this is part of the process, the Leo stage, the Leo moon sign and stage of self-expression and creativity that we've been immersed in for the last couple of days. All right, we had lots of adventures this week. Thank you for watching, and lots of great videos. So if you had an interesting day and you missed any of the videos this week, you may want to go back and check them out. Lots going on. And I do thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing to this YouTube channel, and for your likes and comments and thoughts and words of support, which mean a lot to me. All right, I will see you next time. You can find my book and more about me at astrologyheals.com. Bye for now.